Hello, hello. We are back with Lavender Shadows. And, I mean, we'll pick up with whoever wants to do a scene, really. Josephine or Viviane? After
Let's
that
see
harrowing
here.
night.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really teach Vivian because we've already established that we're spending the next 12 days, correct,
Yes, and
doing
it's
that.
basically
So,
only been, like, 2 days, maybe?
yeah, it's been like 2 days.
Yeah, I need to keep track of that.
So can't really do anything for that. I did not try anything to make Sir Pascal Gilbert indifferent to me. I don't know what I could do there, but
You could send him a strongly worded letter.
I mean, he hasn't done anything though. I'm not just going to be like,
Right.
"Hey, back off" when he hasn't done
Okay,
anything.
well, I think what happens is you get a strongly written letter.
Oh, geez.
So
Okay.
I think it's basically along the lines of, right? Actually, no, he probably did this in person. So it's after like a routine meeting the next time you guys are planning the funeral, right? And he steps like as everybody's like leaving the meeting, he takes you aside, right? He says, "May I speak with you for a minute, Lady Boulay?"
She's just like, "Sure."
Yeah. So you guys step away for a second, and he says, "I would just like to say that I really do admire the way that you've kept us all together after Bechard's untimely demise. I really appreciate everything you've done for us."
The organization.
Of course. Uh, and so I was wondering, do you have any personal projects that you're working on right now that could use a helping hand? I'm always willing to offer my services.
Nope. Just teaching Vivian how to better herself in the language, as usual. I spend all my time doing that. You know that. I have no time for other things.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like a role right there to immediately just like shut down this conversation. Let's see here. What makes sense? So your intent is to just tell him, "Nope, not interested, go away."
Pretty much.
Do you care if his feelings are hurt by it?
No. Not. I mean, well, that's the thing though, is that she's trying to get a bunch of people on her side right now for to be like officially indoctrinated as the leader. So she'd probably try to be as polite as possible, but Joe's probably not very good at that.
Okay.
I mean, so she's just like, I just don't have time to focus on other things, as you know.
Yeah, so maybe you noticed that he like winced visibly at like the harsh way you said that, and you're like, "Let's wait. I'm not, not doing this harshly. Got to think about this." It sounds like a soothing platitudes test to me.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
It's not a persuasion check?
No, you're not persuading him to do something that's in his best interest. You're just you're trying to calm him. You're soothing him. You're saying, "No."
Well, there's no way I can make this though. That's the thing. Soothing platitudes.
His will is.
How do you even spell platitudes? I don't even know.
PLATITUDES.
Okay. And that's will, perception.
Based on will, yeah.
Okay, will. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be very bad for you.
Yeah, I'm aware.
So your ob is 5.
Well, there's no way I can make it. My will is a 3.
But that's what you did. You said the soothing words.
I was trying to go for persuasion, but that's okay. I mean, it wouldn't
have
have
given
made
him a
it
reason, right? You didn't give him a reason why bothering you right now was a bad idea for him. You just said no. All right. Well, you can mark that challenging test on your will. Do you need that? Oh, you do. Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
Or no, you don't. You already had a challenging.
No,
Okay,
I know. I need a difficult.
I thought you had just popped that in. Yeah. So you need a difficult. Yeah, you need something a little bit more. So I think he of course, lady, just of course. I'm sorry I bothered you. I have projects of my own, of course, to take care of. If you excuse me. And then he steps away. Like, you legitimately, like, and this guy's, like, just a sweetheart. Like, he really is, like, and so he just walks away and, like, really hurt.
I don't think Joe really cares that much. I mean, like, yeah.
Yep. So that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly succeeded on your intent to put him off, but not to put him off in such a way that helped your other goal. So, cool, awesome. I assume, let's see. Yeah, does anyone else have a particular scene they want to work towards? Another thing they want to do? Looking at your guys' beliefs, I'm not sure I'm finding anything immediately pressing. Does Marcou, like, recover in the immediate at your estate? Like, does he at least spend the night there, I guess, is the question?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Probably
I
in
can't
one of the
imagine
guests.
we'd just be like,
Go
okay,
back.
leave now.
Bye.
Yeah.
We're hospitable.
Yeah. But yeah, then you eventually make your way back. I guess my question would be, Marcou, if you wake up in the morning and you realize that you're still in the estate and you have this belief that's, I will discover if Joe had anything to do with the crime, right? Now would be the time to do any investigation like that.
I don't know what I'd do.
I mean, you could try to, like, poke around her room. This is gonna end so badly if you try to do that. You could also just try to have a conversation.
It's not like it could get any worse.
I mean, it could. You could actually die.
I don't know. Actually, I'd probably just head back to the playhouse.
The opera house. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you see that opportunity, and you're like, nope. I feel awful. Go back. Okay, cool. So time passes, I guess. And it's up to you. I mean, it's 10:26. We could, if there's no other scenes that anyone has, like, in mind, we could just end here. But up to you guys. I don't have anything necessarily in mind. We've gone through a lot of the stuff I had initially planned. Oh, you know what we need to do? Actually, the last thing we need to have, Viviane, you need to have a conversation with your dad. That's what needs to happen. So after Marcou leaves...
I love how I'm just as nervous as she is.
Can Joe be there, or is this a family conversation?
Yeah, I think if you try to, because your mom knows, her mom knows the language enough to translate. They ask. So I guess, would Joe, you know the dynamic. Would you attempt to be in the conversation at first?
I think so, yeah. I think Joe wants to be supportive and correctly express her thoughts,
Right, exactly.
not translated through her mother.
Oh, right.
Okay, so I think what happens then is you guys both start going. So basically, your mother informs you that your father would like to speak to you in his study, and then leaves you to like. I guess you would plan on going there, so she's gonna like lead you there. And then Joe, you start coming, and then she looks at you and says, "Oh, Josephine, it won't be necessary. I can translate for her."
I want to make sure that her thoughts are properly translated. You have come a long way, my lady, but I think it would be best if I came just to ensure correct translation.
That's a persuasion test. Which unfortunately is against an ob 6 because her will is 6. But I'll give you an advantage die. Nothing is going to matter, but I'll give you an advantage die because you, this is like...
This couldn't be etiquette? Like...
No, I don't think so. This is straight, like, this is in your best interest. Don't worry, you guys are earning so many tests on things.
Okay, so I just get a +1 modifier. Yeah. Base ob 6?
Yes.
So that makes it a 12?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, sure. Let's roll that.
Well, you get a challenging on your will, which you don't need.
What the heck?
Well, the key to understanding Burning Wheel is to, if you do want to succeed at something, you have to phrase it in such a way that you are using the task that you're actually good at. Unfortunately, Joe doesn't have any real social skills, so this is just going to be difficult for her for a while. So, yeah, you say this, and then she says, "Joe, that'll be all."
I think as...
You can make a scene.
No, I'm not going to make a scene. Just as she politely nods and says, "Yes, my lady," and then walks away. And as she's walking away, she just like does like a sign gesture that's like flipping her off. Basically.
Yeah, of course, right. That's a sleight of hand check, and then I'll roll to see if she notices.
Okay, I'm good at that. Actually, I can do sleight of hand.
I don't think she has observation.
Okay. Can I also fork in inconspicuous?
Yes.
Okay. Can I also fork in ancient language because I'm using the ancient language to flip her off?
Yes.
Great.
Oh
my gosh.
So the thing is, that's her stat, not her skill. So all of your successes will be double.
Oh, okay.
So really, put your ob as 2.5 basically.
Okay. So I'm doing 2 modifiers.
Because she doesn't actually have the skill.
My ob is a 2.5. Yes.
Yep, more than enough. Yeah. So you got it. It's as if she had the ob 12, right? She may be have a high will, and you be bad at persuasion, but you have a good sleight of hand, and she does not. So you perfectly do this. Viviane,
do I notice it though?
You have to make a perception, unless Joe wants you to. Unless your intent was that Viviane saw it and not.
Oh no, I want her to see it too. Yeah.
Yeah. So Viviane, you notice it.
Okay.
How do you react to that exactly?
I mean, she probably tries not to react to it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so you just like
in her head, she's like, okay, that's not needed, but it is Joe.
But it is Joe. So Viviane, you're led by your mother into your father's study.
I can mark off a routine test, right?
On sleight of hand, you don't need one. So
right, because it's a 6.
Because it's a 6. Yeah, you're very good at sleight of hand. That was easy for you.
Super easy.
So you walk into the study of Vicomte Bastiat Auguste, played by Gary Oldman. But
he looks so silly.
Yeah, he looks silly in that picture, but imagine him like frowning. I can't find a picture of him that actually has a serious face on. but he has this like this long hair, this like grayish beard, and he has this perpetual frown on his face.
Gosh.
And he's reading through some sort of like law charter or something, and he closes the book, puts it down, and he's still turned away from you, and you're like standing there, and he just says, Viviane. And obviously you can't like understand, and he even said anything because he's turned away from you.
Yeah.
And then you like see your mother say something, and she basically, for the audience, she says, she can't read your lips from there. And then he stands up and turns, and he just like looks at you with his like disapproving glare. And he says, Viviane, I've heard some troubling news. And your mother translates for you, even though you can probably read lips too. I think you've probably made an effort to be able to understand
Right,
his
especially
lips.
him.
Yeah. And then he just leaves it hanging there. For some disappointing news.
I don't know if this is too bold for her to say, but I think she says, I'm sorry that you heard that.
So your mother looks at you, and then she signs, did I hear that right? Or did I see that right?
He says yes.
Do you want to rethink that?
God.
What is she saying? He says. And then she looks back and is like, I'm still not the best with the translation. I'm just making sure that I'm understanding her correctly. She turns back to you and then gives you like the eyebrows like
Ugh. Yeah, I guess she changes it and she says, I'm sorry if I've disappointed you.
Okay. And then your mother slowly turns back to your father and she says, I'm sorry that I've disappointed you. And he looks at you and slowly nods once and then says, so you've changed your mind then? You will do what I've asked. And it's almost not a question, right? You have a belief. Stand up for yourself, Viviane.
Gosh, I don't know what to say though. Like, obviously, she's not gonna say something super, like, heck no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how she would word it that wouldn't make him more mad.
Well, whatever way you word it, make sure you word it in a way that actually you have a skill for.
Right. Let me check my skills again.
I was just going to do the same thing.
Hey.
Unfortunately, you don't have very high in any of your social skills.
What is the ball that she agreed to go to?
In like a week or so.
Okay.
Do you want to like give him a non-answer that's like, I'm going to the ball with him, and like I want him to assume that that means that you're following what he wants, but then you're still in your heart of hearts like, but maybe I'll change my mind later.
Yeah. Yeah, she says, he has invited me to a ball, and I'm attending with him. But if you would allow, I would like some more time to get to know him.
Okay. Let's see. I feel like that's a soothing platitudes. But you can fork in persuasion, I guess.
Okay.
And then you can always fork in an astrology die if you want to. Again, unfortunately, this is against his will.
Right.
Which is a 7.
Oh, God.
You don't get to be the Vicomte and not be incredibly willful.
What's the obstacle?
7.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Oh, my. All right. Well, unfortunately, you don't need a challenging for soothing platitudes. Did you say you were going to fork in astrology?
Sure.
So yeah, go and roll a d6, I guess.
5.
Oh, one more success doesn't technically help you that much. Yeah, so you say this, and your father stares at you for just 3 seconds more, and then takes a step closer to you, and then says, "Time, Viviane. You need more time." And you can tell that you're like one step away from just major meltdown here.
Gosh.
So you can either immediately capitulate to what he wants, or you can like
Oh, gosh.
this is intense.
I have an idea, but I don't think it's something that she would do necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea, but I know that she wouldn't do it.
Tell me.
Lie and say that she's not translating correctly.
Throw your mother under the bus.
Oh, gosh. My first thought was to throw Joe under the bus, but I know that
you could do that too. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Be like, I'm sorry, Joe has put these thoughts in my head. Like, yeah. You could do that too. I don't know if you would do that or not, but.
Gosh, I don't know.
So the thing to keep in mind here is if you did want to try to like do something that would, you know, stop this relenting torrent coming towards you. You could try to roll something on a skill that maybe you don't have, but like is easy to succeed at. So like an ugly truth might work here because the ob isn't based on his will; it's based on the complexity of the truth. So you could take another tack that way. So maybe if you wanted to, so just as a thought, you could basically like minorly capitulate and just be like, there's nothing I can say. I have to do exactly what you say, right? Like, and that would be an ugly truth, right? Yeah, you're right. I have to do exactly what you say. And that would sway him for now, right? Whether or not Viviane's going to rebel against that later, it is technically true. At least he perceives it as true, certainly.
Yeah, I think she'd say kind of along those lines. She would say, what other choice do I have but to ask for more time?
Right.
Kind of along the lines of like, I mean, you're probably going to get your way anyway, but as long as I can get more time not being married to him, I might as well try to get it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's still an ugly truth, but I think it's a little bit harder of an ugly truth. Let's take a look at this. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, Ob 2 is ugly truth about family.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's going to be an Ob 2, which will double to 4, but you have a 5 in your perception, which is what this is based off of. So in your being learned, put an ugly truth, and it's based on perception. So right below your skills, there's a being learned section.
And then I roll that.
And then you roll that, and the ob is 2, which will automatically double, so you just put it in 2.
Okay. Can I fork anything into this?
Not when it's being learned, right?
Not when you can't fork. I'm trying to decide if I
Okay.
want to give you an advantage die. I think I'm going to be kind and give you one advantage die, just because I think he might be more susceptible than this.
So do I do anything with the...
You put 1 modifier.
For the modifier, okay.
Yeah, and then 2 ob. Cross your fingers, guys.
Oh,
no. Oh, that was such a bad roll. It was so bad.
All of my important rolls this session have gone
Oh my god, look how many
boy.
ones you got. Like, oh my gosh.
That's so bad.
Oh
Okay, so you can technically spend 2 fate if you would like to actually you can spend 1 fate if you would like to reroll 1 failed dice. But at that point it's like a 1 in 36 chance.
Yeah, I'm not
That you'd
gonna do
actually
that.
get off for, yeah. Yeah, so you can mark that routine on the little bubble next to Ugly Truth there. But what happens is, you do that one, because it's like that 1 inch of rebellion, right? It's like that you almost get away with like saying it, but then you don't, and he just slaps you across the face.
Oh, okay.
And it's like immediately, right? Like probably tears just spring to your eyes because you're just like, like.
Mm-hmm.
And he leans in very closely to you and he says, "You're lucky. You're so lucky." And he's making sure that you have the angle so that you can actually see your mom translating this. But he's like leaning in so you understand like how, and you can feel his breath on your face. And he says, "You're lucky. You are so lucky that I cannot actually hear those words coming out of your mouth. Go to your room." You will not come out until the ball. And then he turns away to his study. And then, like...
I think Joe's already waiting there for her. Because she knows.
And I think he says to your mom, that means no lessons.
Oh.
And then, like, turns away. And so she says, she translates that to you, and then, like, hurriedly leads you out of the room. What do we see from Viviane here?
I mean, she's crying.
Yeah,
obviously, and like once she gets out of the room, she starts like bawling even more.
Yeah,
and, like she's probably being louder than she thinks because she can't hear her own voice.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Joe, what do? You just like hug her?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, is Mom still there? Like when she gets to her room?
Yeah, I mean, Mom was like right outside with her. Actually, I want to do an addendum on that though. I think he didn't say no lessons. I think he said no garden. That's really what he meant by that. Because then we can still have Joe doing her instruction time with Viviane. That makes sense. But yeah, no garden is a worse punishment anyway.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
Say, don't punish me, punish her.
Yeah.
Can't work on my belief.
I mean, and so what I'm assuming kind of is that we might do a little bit of a time skip here, just because Marco is like kind of recovering from his injuries, and there's stuff going on there. We'll probably do a little bit more with Marco next time, just like because he'll probably want to pick up the investigation still, but we'll do a little bit of time skip, I'm sure, to get to that ball, and have that whole thing go on. Well, cool. That was a intense session in a lot of ways. There's so much failure.
I mean, Joe just is like death glaring at Mom, like you knew this. Like as she's like comforting her,
gaze.
like
she won't meet your gaze. She will not look at you.
Like shaking her head, like you knew this would happen.
Which is like a huge no-no in sign language, avoiding eye contact.
Yeah. And she knows. She knows that. Yeah, man, there was just so many failures, and so much of it was like, you shouldn't have failed at it, but you did anyway. But this is the thing, right? This is the thing about Burning Wheel. Often you'll have a session like this where it's just like, wow, there's no luck. We are failing miserably. But that gives us so much depth with these characters, watching them just fail so much. And then we get those moments in another session where we see them just over and above just succeed at something amazing after working so hard at it. And those are them. And after all of that failure, seeing that, I am waiting for the moment where Viviane can actually stand up to her father and tell him off. It will be a long time, but I believe that she's
gonna be like the like Dylan standing up to her father.
Exactly,
moment,
right? But like even
more
long
up
and
because
intense. Yeah. Because Dylan was already a firebrand to begin with, so you know. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and do Beliefs and Instincts. I'm sure you guys got a heck ton of Artha this time. You did so much. Marco Tisby. It's like your Beliefs and Instincts and traits.
Beliefs. I can find the killer. I'll find justice. I'll find out what happened to Ferrant. Did not do that.
Were you working on it?
So what's that?
Fate point.
I did not prove I'm the right man for the job.
But you tried, so fate. You're working on it.
And I didn't do anything towards it, finding if Joe had anything to do with the crime.
Yep. Let's see. I'm sure that you've gotten stuff for your traits. You obviously get one for Rabble Rouser. You get a fate for Rabble Rouser.
No, down.
And I think I'm going to give you a fate for Thick Skin, too, because I think, like, part of the thing was that you let them just abuse you like that and, like, walk all over you because you're
No, down.
It's the way it is. I'll let you more into that situation. So you got, like, 4 fate there. Joe.
Down.
I worked on making Sir Pascal Gilbert indifferent to me.
Yeah, I don't think you're quite there, but obviously you worked on it, so that's a fate.
Worked on it. Yeah. I did not. I did continue technically,
you didn't.
But I
roll on
didn't
it,
roll
so,
anything. And then I worked on becoming the leader of the Forsaken Quill Society.
Yep. So you get another fate there.
So 2 fate.
Yep. I'm gonna give you a fate for if someone has a romantic interest in me, then I push them away because you ruined a young man's day and made him very, very disappointed and sad.
No. Yeah.
And
He's having the absolute opposite response as Viviane is.
yeah. Let's see here.
I feel like I got something for headstrong.
That's what I was thinking too. But I'm trying to think of if it actually
what about
yeah, go ahead.
What about sophisticated? Because I felt like using the history to present myself was pretty sophisticated.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the way that would work too, right? You get a fate point for a trait if it complicates your life or moves the story in an interesting direction. I think the fact that Joe is sophisticated and knew that was an interesting direction for the story to take, so I'll give you a fate for that. And I'll give you a fate for headstrong too, because yeah, you were butting heads with Mom today. I'm sure she doesn't like you because of it.
Nobody likes Joe except everybody in the Quill Society.
It's true. Yeah, so you got a lot of fate too.
Okay, so I got 5 fate points.
Yeah. Viviane.
I believe someone can love me. I will find them and return the favor. Parentheses, discover if Frederick actually cares for me or not.
Yep, you're working on it.
I believe I owe Jo much. I will heed her advice.
You heeded her advice. That was the goal, right? And you did it. It got you in a whole heck of a ton of trouble, but you did it.
Yeah.
So that's a persona for you.
Cool. So I just mark the P there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I believe
we'll
plants can teach people about patience and beauty. I will teach someone to appreciate my garden.
Yeah, you were using that herbalism test to try to get Joe to appreciate it. Didn't work. I mean, you would have also gotten Marco to appreciate it. Yeah. But you failed, so didn't really help. But you got a fate point at least. Yeah. Let's see. I don't think any of your instincts made trouble for you. But I'll give you a fate for rabble rouser. Oh boy, Viviane. You've been learning from Joe too much. So you get 3 fate and a persona. So yeah, if you want to list that on your bubbles in the next page and the stats and skills there, add 3 fate to that pool and 1 persona. Awesome. And then we have little extra Artha things you can get. Did anyone have humor? A fate point is earned if a player can stop the table dead with humor while in character.
I mean, humor or shock with the mom line. I don't know what you guys would consider that.
I'll give you the humor fate point for that. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
That works.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna give you. I would give you Joe right skill, right time, but it was already kind of in your sophisticated. It's all 1 fate point right there for the history check. It's just that same thing. It's having the right skill at the right time and nobody else does to make the story go forward. But you don't get an extra fate point for that. Let's see. I think I'm gonna give. Let's see. Help me think of this, guys. When a player captures the mood of the table perfectly and further drives the story onward, 1 persona point is awarded. I feel like I want to give this to Marco simply because of the whole scene with the guards. He was just so he embodied his character perfectly. This just nonchalant, gruff attitude, which led him into so much trouble. And then he was there with that. I love that moment with the prostitute where he was just spitting out blood, talking to her, but he was so kind to her, right? And he's just if you ever need any help, but as he's bleeding out, right? You know where to call me. I think he earned a persona point there for embodiment. Everybody cool with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So you get a persona, Marco. Mold breaker. If a player comes to a point in the story where his beliefs, instincts, and traits conflict with the decision he must make, a direction in which he must go, and he plays out the inner turmoil, the conflict within his own guts in a believable and engaging manner, then he earns a persona point. I almost want to give this to Viviane with the father. Like, just the way that you worded that ugly truth was so good. Like, because you were on the veneer, or on the very edge of civility and where you could possibly get away with it. And I felt like that was Viviane struggling with her instinct to be kind even in the face of disrespect, but also with her belief to stand up for herself. And she had that, and she tried to compromise, and it got her in trouble. Because if she had just done the ugly truth, like, yep, you're in charge, she probably would have succeeded, because it would have been only an ob 1 test. But she tried for that extra complicated, and then it ruined everything. So I'll give you another persona, Viviane, for Mold Breaker. I think that was a cool moment that we got to see there. All right. Awesome. Good stuff. I thought that was a good session. I thought that went really well. Lots of drama and high stakes. Honestly, most of the stuff that I prepared for this time was like clues that Marcou could find in the house and like stuff like that. But Marcou didn't even get into the house. He just got beat up outside of it and then walked around delirious for a while. But you know, such is the way of things. All right. Cool. I think that's it from us here at Lavender Shadows. We'll figure out our schedule for the month of November. I don't know what it's going to look like, but we'll figure it out. And we'll return at some point with more Lavender Shadows. Adios. Have a great week. Bye-bye.